From the very start of the series, Naruto was introduced as Naruto Uzumaki, taking his mother's family name rather than his father's. But why was that? Why wasn't he ever referred to as Naruto Namikaze? And after the big reveal that Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, was his father, many fans expected Naruto to officially adopt his father's surname at some point, continuing Minato's legacy and showing the world his true heritage. But that moment never came. So, why? Let's break it down step by step. Naruto was born to Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze, meaning he could have rightfully taken either surname. However, the decision to introduce him as an Uzumaki was very deliberate. There were both narrative reasons and cultural logic behind this choice. Let's start with the plot perspective before diving into how family names work in Japanese culture, and by extension, the Naruto universe. Before Naruto's birth, Minato was serving as the fourth Hokage. The third great ninja war had recently ended, but tensions between villages were still high, and Minato had made plenty of enemies along the way. Protecting his wife Kushina, who was also the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, and their unborn son became a top priority. The couple decided to keep Kushina's pregnancy a secret, sharing it only with a handful of trusted individuals. This secrecy was crucial, as Kushina would be at her weakest during childbirth, and any enemy who discovered her condition could have targeted her or attempted to capture Kurama. But, as we know, things didn't go as planned. The masked man attacked, Kurama was unleashed, and tragedy struck the Hidden Leaf village. In the chaos, Minato and Kushina sacrificed their lives, sealing the Nine-Tails within their newborn son. At this point, the general public didn't even know the fourth Hokage's wife had been pregnant, let alone that they had a son. Only the Konoha Council and the reinstated third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, were aware of Naruto's true parentage. Before Minato's death, he asked the third to ensure that the villagers saw Naruto as a hero, the boy who saved them by holding the Nine-Tails, not as a vessel for the demon that destroyed their home. Unfortunately, that request fell on deaf ears. Instead of being celebrated, Naruto was feared and resented. So why give him the Uzumaki name at all if the goal was to hide his identity? There are multiple layers to this decision. First, it was logical and believable. The Uzumaki clan had a long-standing bond with Konoha, and its members had traditionally been chosen to carry the Nine-Tails because of their exceptionally strong life force and sealing abilities. Mito Uzumaki, Hashirama Senju's wife, was the first Jinchuriki of Kurama, followed by Kushina. Given this tradition, naming Naruto as an Uzumaki orphan made perfect sense. No one would question why a child of that lineage was entrusted with the Nine-Tails. At this point in history, the Uzumaki clan's village, Uzushiogakure, had already been destroyed, and almost all known clan members were gone or scattered. Aside from Kushina, very few Uzumakis were known by name, and figures like Karin hadn't even entered the picture yet. So Naruto being an Uzumaki didn't raise any red flags. But what about Minato's enemies? Wouldn't they still come after him if they knew he was the fourth son? That's where the second layer of logic comes in. Naruto's physical appearance itself acted as a disguise. Think about it. Every Uzumaki we've seen, like Nagato, Karin, Kushina, and Mito, had bright red hair. Naruto, on the other hand, had golden blonde hair, just like his father. Giving him his mother's surname created a subtle layer of protection. Anyone trying to track Minato's heir would expect a child with yellow hair carrying the Namikaze name, not an Uzumaki orphan with blonde hair. This small but clever detail helped shield Naruto from unwanted attention, even from those seeking the Nine-Tails. Essentially, Naruto's name served as both a narrative choice and a strategic move by the third Hokage and the Konoha Council. By presenting Naruto as an ordinary orphan from the Uzumaki clan, rather than the son of the fourth Hokage, they not only honored Kushina's lineage, but also gave him a protective layer of anonymity during a time when his very existence was considered a matter of national security. So while it might seem strange that Naruto never took the Namikaze name, this decision was deeply rooted in both storytelling and strategy. His Uzumaki surname kept him safe, tied him to a proud lineage, and added depth to his journey as a character who had to earn respect and recognition entirely on his own. Naruto had taken his father's surname, Namikaze. It would have immediately signaled to the world that he was the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. After all, there seemed to be an unspoken trend of Jinchuriki being tied to their village leaders' families. Gaara, for example, was a Jinchuriki whose father held the title of Kazekage. Giving Naruto the Uzumaki name instead was a deliberate move, one that offered him and Kurama far greater protection. But beyond the strategic reasoning, I believe Masashi Kishimoto intended this choice as part of the story's deeper themes: predestination and the balance of yin and yang between the Senju and Uchiha clans, mirrored through Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto's identity as an Uzumaki emphasized his connection to the Senju lineage, solidifying the ancient feud's weight and making Naruto's heritage feel more authentic. Above all, Naruto was always meant to embody the Uzumaki legacy. Now, this still leaves one big question. Once Naruto learned about his father, why didn't he ever adopt the Namikaze name? The truth is, not much is revealed about the Namikaze clan itself. For all we know, it may have been a small, nearly extinct family line, and Naruto stepping up as its head would have made sense on paper. But Naruto never pursued that path because his story isn't about legacy in the conventional sense, it's about acceptance. His entire life, Naruto lived as an Uzumaki, and that identity shaped everything about him. His massive chakra reserves, his reincarnation of Asura, his role as a Jinchuriki, all of it was tied to being Kushina Uzumaki's son and inheriting her clan's unique traits. The Uzumaki name wasn't just a title, it was Naruto's essence. Now that we've covered the narrative reasons, let's talk about how naming conventions actually work in the Naruto world. Do spouses change their family names upon marriage? Is it always the woman who adopts the man's name? Do children automatically take their father's name, or does reputation play a role? To understand this, we should look at Kishimoto's likely inspiration: Japan's real-world family registry system, known as the Koseki. The Koseki is a meticulous family record that logs every change in a household, from birth to marriage, divorce, and beyond. By law, only Japanese citizens can be entered into it. When a foreigner marries a Japanese citizen, regardless of gender, they take on the Japanese spouse's surname, and their children also inherit that name. In marriages between two Japanese citizens, the default, and by far the most common practice, is for the wife to adopt the husband's surname, though the opposite is legally allowed in rare cases, usually if the wife's family is more prestigious. Applying this to Naruto's world, it's reasonable to assume each hidden village maintains its own version of the Koseki. Anyone from another village would be treated as a foreigner, and would have no family records in that village's registry. For example, Sakura Haruno marrying Sasuke Uchiha would make her officially Sakura Uchiha, and their daughter Sarada would be part of the Uchiha clan, as we've seen. Similarly, when Temari from Tsunagakure married Shikamaru Nara, she took his surname instead of keeping her own, despite her high status as a member of the Kazekage's family. This was because she wasn't a Konoha citizen and had no existing family records in its registry. Now, we haven't seen any examples of a man taking his wife's surname, but based on Japanese tradition, it's certainly possible, especially if the wife's family is more influential. This could have been the case with Minato and Kushina. It's plausible that Minato chose to join Kushina's clan officially, given the Uzumaki's close historical ties to the Senju and their prominence, which would explain why their lineage was so well documented in Konoha. This also means that either Kushina became Kushina Namikaze, Minato became Minato Uzumaki, or, if they weren't formally married, Naruto would have automatically taken his mother's surname as an illegitimate child. Regardless of which scenario is true, the Uzumaki name was always a natural fit for him, both strategically and thematically. So when you really think about it, Naruto being called Uzumaki Naruto carries far more meaning than we often give it credit for. I hope this breakdown helped you understand not only the security-based reasoning behind Naruto's name, but also the cultural influences and symbolism behind it. If you'd like me to dive deeper into Japanese history, its laws, and how they shaped the Naruto universe, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future discussions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.